Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Miguel and Melania with Weakspot's commentary guide, real quick. Not so much of a guide as it is just like an analysis of my first week run. Hopefully, you guys, especially newer players, can get some insight from this. I want to start off with the team just to show it off and largely talk about crime brands. Really, they don't matter that much. Um, Bianca's just running like a full crit setup because I'm running Jelena. You can run Embrace the Dead, you can run Bell Tower. It's not going to change all that much. I just went with this to make my runs more consistent. I'm doing like 20 attempts at this. I want it to be as consistent as possible. Golems is probably the most important. Heartache is just ridiculously good against bosses. If Golem breaks the last core, the boss takes a ton of extra damage, like 20%. It's a really big deal. Sean's is actually a mistake. I I meant to have tuning cope and corridor. Inversion slash, more or less the same thing. Again, doesn't really matter. Jelena, I'm running Shackles of Life. I don't recommend Shackles of Life to most players. If you're running Shackles of Life, you need to know what you're doing. For most players, I recommend tuning cope and corridor because it's just easier to play. And that goes a long, long way. Um, So yeah, just run Tuning Open Corridor unless you know what you're doing. Then you can run Shackles of Life, or if you really really know what you're doing, you can run Judgment. But um, worst comes to worst, just slap Judgment on anyways. It's not gonna hurt. Cabernets is important because she has Ignition. Ignition is, in my opinion, the singular best crime brand in the game. Anybody can run Ignition, doesn't matter, but it allows you to give energy to whoever you want, and that's insane. And then we also have like a little star of the show here at the end, and Pearl. If I ever show off her crime brand there, come on, show off that last. Oh, there it is. There it is. Soul Rift and Maw. Again, this is getting a little advanced. You guys don't need to run this, but Soul Rift reduces defenses. Maw, if I kill an elite without breaking its cores, I get energy back, which comes into play in a few of these runs. Not sure about this one specific, but it's a really good like third slot to run specifically on Lady Pearl because she doesn't need Corridor. Most supports need that starting energy from Corridor, like Cabernet does. But Pearl and like Golan are one of the two exceptions where like they don't need Corridor, so you can run Mod. It's actually pretty good. Okay, but with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the run. Again, the crime brands don't matter that too much. If you just have like Embrace the Deads and THCs, the Tuning Cope and Corridor setup, you're good. Put Embrace the Dead on your carries, put Tuning Cope and Corridors on your supports. It's close enough. Um, but let's go ahead and take a look at this fight. Now, to note about the fight, there are three big things that we're going to focus on. And first, let me show off the buffs. Um, because I'm sure I show buffs here. Okay, there are three big things that we're going to focus on. The first one is wave clear. You always have to wave clear. You have to survive until a certain point in the game. And that point that you're trying to survive to is the core break phase. You are trying to wave clear until you see cores appear. And when cores appear, your actions are like per second are just going to skyrocket. You're going to try and activate everything at the same time. As soon as you see the boss cores, press every single button on your keyboard or your tablet or your phone. I play on a tablet. Click everything that you possibly can, and you'll probably win. Um, and then after that core break phase, then we go into like the DPS phase, which depending on the characters you're playing, you can kind of just like sit back, put your hands behind your head, relax, snuggle up with your pillow. It doesn't really matter because once you've made it past that core broken phase and you have like the necessary damage, you've probably won. But again, that's three phases: wave clear, core break, damage. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, knowing that we have those three phases that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so this map is really challenging because Miguel does a lot of damage. He hurts. And you'll see me using Goland a lot. I'll be moving her around a lot. That's mostly just to dodge Miguel's damage. I don't do it perfectly every time, but it's good enough for the run. Another thing to note is that these two bosses only reveal their cores if you've blocked them. So blocking them early with Golan to like start that core timer is actually really helpful. So she starts way off in the front. Empowers on random people. I know from playing this stage like 5 or 6 times that I need empowers on these 3 people because their abilities just aren't up fast enough for like the wave clear or the core break phase that they get used on. That comes from trial and error. It's not something that you know going into the stage. But for instance, I know that in order to survive these waves, I need Bianca ult, and I need it like really early. So I spent a lot of this run just getting Bianca online ASAP to deal with the wave. This movement here doesn't matter. You can ignore that. I'm getting fancy. Don't need to. That's a big deal right there. Okay, so you can see that Miguel, he first comes in like contact with Goland, and he raises his foot. You see that foot there? Yeah, you want to dodge that foot. This big ol' stomp, and you can see it for like those brief instant, this little diamond shape here. Everything here gets stunned, and it hits like a truck. Dodge that. Just just the first time Miguel's about to attack somebody, he stomps, dodge the stomp. Just do it. And then you can move back and do whatever. It's a really annoying thing Miguel does. Okay, here's another thing. Small tidbit. Sean's ult applies a debuff that lets Bianca go crazy. And that's pretty much how you should look at it. Like debuff things, Bianca ults them, Bianca goes crazy. But Sean does get returns for hitting as many things as possible. Technically, it caps at 3, but one thing to note is that I've waited until this elite got into the range of this ult. I want it to get the elite and the boss at the same time because I want that debuff on the elite. I want to do damage to that elite. So it's very important that we wait until that elite's there so we can stack them all. I'm just being extra patient here because I don't really know what's coming next. Waiting for this Bianca ult right there. Now, like I said, I've done this stage a few times at this point, and I know that I need Bianca ult for the wave clear. So really, I'm just here waiting for this Bianca ult to come up so I can kill all this wave. Like there's 2 things here, there's 3 things here, there's 2 things here. There's too much on the screen, and I can't deal with it all. So I'm using Bianca ult like to wave clear. And to help wave clear, I go ahead and use Jelena's ult as well. So now like Bianca is buffed to fuck up. She has Jelena buff. She has Sean buff. She has like Golan's passive buff. Like Bianca's really strong right now, and she's just going to shred these waves.
Is coming.
I don't really have to pay attention too much. Now, we saw that Miguel jumped into the air. When Miguel lands, the cores are going to reveal. Like very shortly after Miguel lands, that's when the cores are revealed. So we are currently setting up, like we're still in the wave clear, but we're setting up for the core break phase. It's like right around the corner. Also, as soon as this elite dies, that's what triggers the next wave to spawn. So I should be trying to kill this elite as fast as possible, and in fact, there's like a millisecond here. Let me show that millisecond. There's a millisecond. I can't even catch it while doing the pause play. You see me like select Lady Pearl here.
Is coming.
Where is it? It looks like I select Lady Pearl, but if you pause play, oh, you can just barely see it. I clicked Sean at like the last second. Like Lady Pearl pops up, and then it's Sean instead.
Rain is coming.
This is why it's so hard to follow like what I'm doing in these showcases sometimes, because right there I use Sean ECB. In case you couldn't see it, Sean ECB got used in that like quarter of a second there, and I'm using that just so I can kill this elite faster. I know as soon as this elite dies, the next wave spawns. So I'm trying to DPS this elite as much as I can while still saving enough resources for the core break phase. And however you can manage to do that, if you want to like auto attack cancel or do some fancy stuff, you could do some fancy stuff. It'll help your score. But yeah, get that elite down so the next wave can spawn and you can clear the stage faster. Okay. Okay, he died. Elite died. wave spawn. Elite Dead wave spawn. We knew this was coming. And at this point, we're not too interested in the wave because we're so close to the core broken phase that that's what we're focusing on. This movement doesn't matter. I messed up anyways. Even what I was trying to do didn't even work. Doesn't matter. And over here, okay, like I said, right after Miguel lands, I know that the core broken phase is coming. So I'm setting up for all the debuffs and buffs. First things first is throw down Sean, so I have guaranteed weak spots and everything. I'm going to wait for this guy to step into the debuff because, well, why not wait for this guy to step into the debuff? But I know the cores are about to reveal, so I've gotten past the wave clear stage. I am now in the core broken phase. I am setting up all of my buffs and debuffs and getting ready to core break. So here's my first debuff. There's my first buff. I've used Sean, I've used Jelena. 2 of my tools are now down. You see cores are revealed on Miguel. They're about to reveal on Melanie. Okay, now I can start core breaking. So I already have Cabernet selected. I knew these cores were coming. I go ahead and break that instantly. Also, throw in Lady Pearl. Break another 2 cores. You can see, like, I knew that this was coming, and I knew I was going to use all my buffs and debuffs immediately. So I'm just executing on that. I used Cabernet. I used Lady Pearl. I used Jelena. I used Sean. I'm using Cabernet again. And then it's important, because I'm running Heartache on Goland, it's important that Goland gets the last core break. So I save the best for last. Goland's going to activate her Heartache Crime Brand here, and she's going to break both the bosses. Okay, so take a look at their health bars right now. Melanie's at like half. Miguel's at like 70. Like, most of the boss's health is still there. But now that we've gotten past the core broken phase, it doesn't really matter that they're this healthy, because they're just gonna melt. Like, they have the extra damage taken from being core broken, and they have all these buffs and debuffs flying left, right, front, and center. Like, every single character here is here to buff Bianca, and Bianca is just doing silly amounts of damage at this point. So at this point, you can just like take your hand off your phone, tablet, keyboard, whatever, and like the stage is over. You won. You broke the cores. You won. But I'm gonna do some extra shit just because like I'm trying to get high scores. I'm trying to hit 270k, so I'm doing extra shit. You ain't got to do the extra shit. You've already won. You broke the cores. Congratulations. I mean, just look at those crits. Oh my god, like 100k, 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 20k. Like, what are these numbers here? What is happening to these health bars? 50k, 100k, 100, like weak spot's insane, man. Jelena gives so much damage, and weak spot is just insane. Like, that's illegal. This is illegal. 50k, 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 100k from one Bianca auto attack. Like, that's not fair. That's like most people's ultimates, and Bianca is like, one auto. It's insane how much damage Bianca does. And again, you don't have to do any of this extra shit. Like, you won. Like, you're doing so much damage. You won. It's over. You ain't got to do all this fancy shit that I'm doing. I'm just doing fancy shit to, like, hit the high score. And you can see right there, boom, we do some more fancy shit. The boss explodes even though he was at, like, 70% health, like, 2 seconds ago. And we get to 270k. So yeah, ultimately, three phases, okay? You have the wave clear, you have the core break, and you have the damage. The damage, you don't have to do anything. You just sit back and relax. But the big thing is the core break, okay? Right here, when Miguel lands, I've got a lot of shit to do right here. Okay? The cores are about to reveal right here. Miguel has come back down. And I now have 6 characters. And all 6 characters are going to use their buffs, debuffs, and abilities. Everybody is using their shit at the same exact time. If people do not have their shit for this core break right now, I have failed. The whole point of BFL is that you have all your resources together when you go for that core break. So I should have all 6 people like using their abilities at the same time when this core break happens. And you can see here, Sean gets used, Jelena gets used, Cabernet gets used, Lady Pearl gets used, Cabernet gets used again, Golan gets used. The only person I haven't used here is Bianca. And that's because Bianca is already in her ult. She doesn't need to use it again. I mean, if you watch the rest of the video, she does use it again anyways. Like, I get energy back from the core break and give that to Bianca so she can ult again. But like, every single person used all of their abilities in that small window. Like, from here with like 2:11 on the clock all the way to here at 2:09 on the clock. I have used 5 people's abilities. Everybody has used their ability within 2 seconds. Okay, that's really, really important. Make sure all your buffs and debuffs are collected together for that core break and phase so that you can maximize your damage. And then if you do that, if you successfully get that far into the stage and you core break with all of your buffs and debuffs applied, you should just be able to like sit back, relax, don't touch anything. The boss is gonna die. You just do so much damage for no reason. You see those 100Ks popping out of nowhere. It's way too effective combining all of your buffs and debuffs for that one pivotal moment. Now to get there, to get to that core breaking phase, you have to do some shit to survive, right? Like here's the wave clear phase. Golan has to like dance like a ballerina. She has to dodge the stomp. She has to dodge a spin. She has to dodge the jumping slam. I have to get Bianca online to kill these waves so Bianca doesn't die. Like you have to do some stuff to survive. That's really all you're doing. You're just surviving until those cores show up, and then you can like drop the
Listen.
the big PP damage.
Rain is coming.
But if you can survive, if you can make it to if you can make it to this point alive, right? Like you just make it here alive with all of your abilities ready to go, you've won. And again, those abilities don't have to be the ultimates. They can be the ECBs depending on the character. That's why characters like Jelena, Lady Pearl, and Golan are so good, because you don't have to coordinate their SP bars. You just have to coordinate their ECB, their exclusive crime brand. And that opens up so much freedom. Because like right now you can see Cabernet is sitting at like max SP bar. Sean dropping in power so that she's at max SP bar. When these cores get broken, I'm going to give empowers to Bianca so she can have her max SP bar. Like these 3 characters, all of their value comes from their ultimate, and I have to make sure their ultimates are all ready at the same time. And that's not as easy as it looks on some of these stages. But for characters like Lady Pearl, Jelena, and Golan, they don't have to worry about it because their ECB is always available. At any point, you can just like rip it and send your buff and debuff out there. But yeah, right here, just again, keep in mind that this is what you do BFL for. You are surviving until you get to this moment here where you can click every button. And if you manage to click every button and break the cores, you've probably won.
Listen.
2 buttons, 3 buttons, 4 buttons, 5 buttons, 6 buttons. 6 buttons, we get empowers back, spin the empowers, click all the other buttons you have, like use all that extra empower stuff to like maximize your damage. And once you've maximized all your damage, you spent all of the empowers that you've gained from breaking the boss, you've won. Like you don't really have to think that hard. Once you've gotten past the core broken phase, you've won. You just need to get there. And like your score may vary, like you can optimize it. Like this is a 270. I could have optimized this beyond 270. I probably could have got like 272, 273. But like, you know, at what point are you calling it good enough, right? If you're aiming for 240, aim for 240. Like you got that. You don't need to do anything crazy for 240. You do need to coordinate all your ults, but you don't got to do anything crazy. You don't have to like micromanage your centers or anything. But if you're aiming for like 260 or 250, like go through the run a few times. You'll see like where you're falling short. Like, oh, we got to the core broken phase, and Cabernet's not ready. I need to mix up how I'm spending my empowers. Oh, we got to the core broken phase, and Sean's not ready. Okay, I got to mix up how I'm using my empowers. Oh, I tried saving empowers, but now I can't survive the waves. Okay, I have to use my empower somewhere else to make sure that I survived the core broken phase. It's all about like getting to that core broken phase with everyone's ultimates available. And if you can do that, you win. Okay, that's my breakdown for Miguel and Melania. Um, Again, wave clear, and eventually use all of your abilities for the core break. And then once you've done that, spend all of your remaining empowers and just dump all of your damage. Just vomit everything onto this board, and you'll win. If you don't win by vomiting every ability on the board after the core broken phase, then like something's wrong. You gotta go back to the drawing board after that one. But that should do it for like 90% of these BFL showcases. Like wave clear, core break, spend everything to do damage. That's the name of the game. All right, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.